welcome to episode 12 of Game of Wines, a Song of Ice and Fire podcast. I'm Olivia.
I'm Gabby.
And I'm Chris.
Today we will be discussing Jon Chapter 2 in A Game of Thrones, so make sure you have read the chapter before listening.
Alright, so the news that I have today, after that really sad news that we had a few weeks ago about Diana Riggs, unfortunately passing away, some things have come out about how she was around the set, and it's absolutely hilarious.
I'm so excited for this news.
So this one is from Cinema Blend, and they say that Diana Rigg hilariously stormed off set in the slowest way possible, and that's what they named this article. So basically, as we know, Diana Riggs played Olenna Tyrell in Game of Thrones, and apparently how she acted on set as Olenna is actually kind of how she acted in real life, according to what they say here. So if anyone's seen the show, there's a scene where she goes, "Oh, do shut up, let the grown men speak." So that whole scene, or grown women speak, excuse me, that whole scene when they're talking about that, according to them, when Olenna, because she's such a professional actor, when she would walk on, she'd be like, "All right, I'm ready to go." And it didn't matter what was going on. The cameras had to be rolling because she was in character ready to go.
Like, it didn't matter if the set was set up.
Right. It didn't matter what was going on. It's like, we're rolling now.
Yeah.
So if you're not ready, then too bad. So you have to be ready when she's ready.
It's happening now.
Yeah. So a quote from the article says, she walked onto the set and she went, "I'm ready now." A cameraman came over and went, "Well, okay, but we haven't finished setting up." She interrupted him and said, "Roll the cameras." And she just started doing her lines. She did 2 takes, and then the guy came over and was like, "Great, now we're going to do a close-up." And she stood up and went, "I'm done." Now, she can't walk very well, or that fast, so she actually had to be helped. So basically, we just sat there and watched Diana Rigg effectively do her own version of a storming off the set. But it was at about 0.1 miles per hour.
Oh
she cracked me up. I loved her.
She must have been like a force to be reckoned with on set.
I imagine. I mean, she's got all that history of being a great actress, so.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so the Martin message for this week, it's not a super long one. So I think a couple episodes ago was Martin's birthday, and I told you guys that he received a wolf from his wife, like a sculpture or something. So this week he posted a picture of it, and it's actually really cool. It looks like almost like a wood carving of it, and it's like 3D. And in his blog post, he said it was made by an artist called Jim Epler, and he also apparently has a whole set of ravens from the same artist.
That's cool.
Yeah, I'll post a picture for you guys. It looks pretty cool.
That does sound pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so then our answers that we got from some of you guys. For the first question, it was, what is your favorite breakfast? My Aunt Mireya said avocado toast with eggs, bacon, microgreens, and tomatoes. Would never turn down something sweet on the side.
I love avocado toast.
Ooh, that does sound good, actually. Leslie said chicken and waffles. That fits very well with Leslie. I don't think I've actually ever had chicken and waffles, but that was like there was a place in Arizona.
It's pretty tasty.
Well, it's still there, but I just never went, and I don't remember what Lolo's chicken and waffles, something like that. I don't remember.
I've never had chicken and waffles.
Emily said waffles, hands down. I like waffles.
Yeah.
Cece said pancakes with potatoes and bacon. Potatoes. Oh my god, the breakfast potatoes.
Yeah. I love breakfast potatoes.
I love breakfast.
Breakfast.
I almost did say I love breakfast. And then Hannah said French toast, eggs, bacon, no question.
Yep. French toast. That's my favorite.
The second question was, has a member of your family, not your parents, ever slapped you? Mireya said my sister, and I bet my grandma had a couple of times too. And my sister, yeah. Leslie said, my aunt slapped my ear because I called her out for stealing my bra.
Oh my gosh.
What the heck? Okay. Emily said, Liv, don't lie. We slapped each other. We like to replay a scene from one of our favorite movies, Ever After, where the stepsisters fought. I think we use that as an excuse just to beat each other up.
All right, listen. I thought we were talking about, like when we got in trouble for something. So, but yes.
Fair enough.
We would act out this scene and pretend like we were slapping each other.
Yeah. Cece said, nope, they knew not to lay a hand on me, lol. Even as a child, they knew not to try it. We don't try, Cece. I've told you stories. Hannah said, I specifically remember Jacob, your guys' brother, slapping me, but I'm also pretty sure all the siblings have slapped each other at one point or another. That's it's a very sibling thing to do.
Yeah.
All right, and then the third question, it was, if you could stay up all night reading, what book would you choose? Mireya said Genius Life by Max Lugavere.
Sure.
Sorry.
Lugavere.
There you go. Leslie said The Wedding.
Never read it.
Not me either. Emily said Gone with the Wind. Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
She loves that book.
Cece said any of the Twilight books, going through that phase again. Yeah, well.
We'll just leave it at that.
It happens every couple years. Anyway, Hannah said Percy Jackson all the way. It's my favorite book series of all time. I absolutely love it. Side note, if you've seen the movie and haven't read the books, you have no idea what Percy Jackson really is, but I could rant about that indefinitely, so I won't get into that right now.
Me and Hannah have had countless conversations about this because the movies absolutely ruin those books, and we both love that series.
I've heard.
It's so good.
Well, thanks for your answers, y'all. All right. So last episode, we were with Tyrion in Winterfell as he woke up in the library after reading all night. He gives Joffrey a couple little love taps and then heads down to have breakfast with his family. They discuss Brann and if he'll ever wake up again and how Tyrion wants to visit the Wall so he can piss off the edge of the world.
Yeah.
I love that. That's a great line.
Yeah.
That is a great line.
And he says it, quite a few times.
Yes.
So this episode's a little bit more serious. Jon is saying his goodbyes through the halls of Winterfell. He sees Brann, Catelyn, Robb, and an extra special Arya, who he has something very special for.
Yay.
All right, so for tonight's wine, I didn't actually pick this. My dear friend Olivia did.
Yay.
It's chocolate cherry dessert from Gravity Winery in South Haven.
You guys, this wine has changed my life.
She's been texting me, I think, for the past 2 weeks about how badly she wants me to try it, and we're finally doing it.
I'm so excited.
ASMR.
It sounds just really sweet. That's what it sounds like.
The name of it?
It tastes like a raspberry
Smells sweet.
Tootsie Pop. So it says it's a chocolate wine, but it comes out as a red.
Oh my. That is very sweet. Very sweet.
Chris, when you just said it sounds like it's very sweet, I thought you were saying that how it came, how it poured. I was like, yeah. Chris, how can you tell how sweet the wine is from it being poured?
I have this sense.
No, but it's amazing, you guys.
I'm gonna try it.
Sweet.
So good.
It does taste like a Tootsie Pop.
Woo! Can you taste the chocolate in it?
Yeah, I like it.
It doesn't come out like a chocolate wine. It comes out red, but the person at the winery when I went there with my mom and my sisters said there's actually chocolate in it, which is really cool.
I can taste that.
Yeah. All right, let's dive in.
All right, are we ready?
Yep.
Ready to rock and roll. Okay, sorry.
God.
Sorry.
Just go.
I'm going. So the day has finally come when Jon leaves for the Wall, and he is going around Winterfell saying his goodbyes. He is walking the grounds with Ghost and reminiscing about his time spent here, and he starts to kind of get emotional. First stop is he enters Brann's room, and he sees Lady Stark by his bed. Now, she has been in there the whole time that Brann has been sick. So it's been almost 2 weeks, and she has not left once. She eats there, she sleeps there, she uses the bathroom there. In the book, it said there's a hard bed that was moved into Brann's room so that she could sleep in it. She has all of her meals brought there, and then her chamber pots are also emptied there.
So she's not even leaving for the bathroom?
No. She doesn't leave.
She won't even leave to go to the bathroom?
No.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, not really crazy, because I have to say I'd probably be the same way,
right.
But
still.
But she doesn't get out for fresh air, nothing.
So she's got to be kind of going crazy in there.
She's a mom.
Yeah.
She's a mom, yep. It says in the book that she's been feeding Brann a honey, water, and herb mixture to make him stay alive since he can't eat in a comatose state. And since she has been in there for the 2 weeks that Brann has been sick, Jon has stayed away and has not visited Brann since the accident because he knows that his presence will upset Catelyn, which is, like, heartbreaking to me because, like, being an older brother, you want to go visit.
Yeah, absolutely.
When your younger sibling is hurting and sick, you know, want to be there for them. He was kind of standing in the doorway, hesitant to come in the room, but he just had to say goodbye, and in the book it says there was no more time left. He stands there for a minute, not saying anything because he's afraid to speak because of Lady Catelyn. And then finally Catelyn sees him and goes, "What are you doing here?" Kind of in a nasty tone. I'm sure that he's the last person she wants to see right now. Jon goes, "I came to see Brann to say goodbye." Jon notes that it looks like Catelyn has aged about 20 years. Her auburn hair was dull and tangled. Probably from being in the same room for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
Catelyn says, "You have said it, now go. I don't want you here." Jon said that at one point this would have made him sad. Now it's just making him angry because this is the last time he will ever get to see his brother, at least for a long time. And he is Jon's brother, and he deserves to say goodbye and see him off and stuff.
I mean, like, put the swords away for a second.
Right.
Here.
I feel like Catelyn could have been a little understanding at this point.
Yep.
You know?
Definitely.
And then Catelyn threatens to call the guards to take him away, but Jon is just like, whatever, you can't stop me right now. I'm saying goodbye to him. You're not going to see me for a while. Do what you got to do. Mm-hmm. So he approaches Brann's bed, and he sees for the first time how Brann looks. So in the book on page 94, it says, "She was holding one of his hands. It looked like a claw. This was not the Brann he remembered. The flesh had all gone from him. His skin stretched right over bones like sticks. Under the blanket, his legs bent in ways that made Jon sick. His eyes were sunken deep into black pits, open but they saw nothing. The fall had shrunken him somehow. He looked half a leaf, as if the first strong wind would carry him off to his grave." And then he describes that his breasts are shallow under his shattered ribs. Mm-hmm. That is just devastating.
Shattered ribs. That's also super painful, so poor Brann.
Yeah. Like
the part that got me was the legs.
I know.
I think that when he's like, "Oh, they're contorted in a way that make me sick."
Yeah. So maybe that's
messed up.
That's like saying right there, his legs are broken.
Yeah.
You know?
That's an understatement.
An understatement. They are destroyed.
Yeah.
But if you think about it, this is sad. Like, before this accident, he was a healthy, strong boy, climbing the castles in Winterfell, having the time of his life.
Completely normal.
Completely normal. And now he is bedridden. He is half the weight he used to be.
And it sounds like he's like almost in a coma.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
he's not responding to anyone. They said his eyes were like black pits, so...
Yes.
But he's not seeing anything.
The line, his eyes were sunken deep into black pits, that's like a harrowing...
Well, I'm guessing he's also kind of starving to death.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he's just
all he's
honey
eating
and
is
water.
Herbs, water, and honey.
Yeah.
That's it. For 2 weeks.
You know, that's all he can eat.
Yes.
So.
Well, eat is an understatement.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then Jon, at the sight of him, starts crying. And he apologizes over and over for not coming sooner. Mm-hmm. And then he's begging at this point, "Brann, don't die. Please, we're all waiting for you to wake up." So then he kisses Brann and turns to leave.
Yeah. So, as he kind of starts to leave, Kat starts speaking, but Jon kind of says that she's not even really talking to him. It's almost like as if he's not even in the room. But she's saying, "I wanted him to stay here with me. I prayed for it. He was my special boy. I went to the sept and prayed 7 times to the 7 faces of God that Ned would change his mind and leave him here with me. Sometimes prayers are answered." Which, it's
a little dark.
It's a little dark. The whole sometimes prayers are answered. Like, I mean, yes, this is going to keep him there.
He gets to stay with me, but he's literally in a coma.
Yeah.
It's messed up.
So Jon kind of, doesn't really know what to say, but he tries to give her some sort of reply, and he tells her it wasn't her fault. And since we've already kind of seen her nasty snap back at him, she does it again, and she goes, "I need none of your absolution, bastard."
I mean, he probably shouldn't have said it wasn't your fault.
Yeah.
Just
Come on,
Because it
Catelyn.
obviously wasn't her fault. But
Well, and plus he even says, like, she's not really talking to him.
Yeah.
She's just kind of talking.
She's saying what's on her mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
she's in the mood to talk. But.
Yeah.
You know, it was just sad that Jon was still trying to be polite despite everything, and she still just wasn't having it.
He just wanted to say goodbye to his brother.
Yeah. Jon gives Brann's hand one last squeeze and finally, again, turns to leave the room. But Catelyn calls after him and tells him that it should have been him. She then turns back to Brann, and Jon kind of notices that her body is shaking with sobs and that he's never seen her cry before.
Wow.
Which, yeah.
That is a statement. It should have been you.
That was horrible.
That, like, hits.
But then at the same time, I know this is not to play devil's advocate, but kind of point something out. Like, he says she's never seen her cry before, so I almost wonder if, like, him finally seeing her break down and sob like that, I'm wondering if he's almost like, okay, she was nasty to me because, you know what I mean? Like,
There's like
Yeah, so she's been in this room for...
Yeah.
There's, like, an excuse. Her favorite kid. Whatever.
You're not supposed to have favorite kids.
I know.
Everyone knows that.
But you know that he's her favorite. So
I mean,
there's an
she
excuse.
just said he was my special boy.
Yeah.
Okay. So after a long walk down to the yard, Jon kind of walks into this frenzy of wagons being loaded, men shouting, and horses being harnessed and saddled. And Robb is in the middle of all of it, shouting commands, and he has Grey Wind at his side. Jon even kind of thinks to himself that Robb seems to have grown up after Brann's accident and his mother kind of having the breakdown. I guess I think he meant he tried to grow into the position of Lord of Winterfell since, you know, the parents were dealing with Brann. So he was just kind of stepping up, and I think that's a good thing. Robb kind of tells Jon that their Uncle Benjen has been looking for him, and that he wanted to leave an hour ago. So Jon seems to be holding the travel up.
He's got to say goodbye to him.
Yeah, Jon just kind of says, yeah, I know, but I'll leave soon, but the leaving is harder than I thought it was going to be. Robb then agrees with that and asks if Jon went to see Brann. Jon is like, yeah, kind of nods, but doesn't really say anything because he doesn't trust himself to speak. I made a little note kind of like, why doesn't he trust himself to speak? I wonder if it's either wanting to tell Robb how things went with his mom, or that he's afraid he'll just break down.
Or maybe, I was thinking, it's like he doesn't want to talk bad about Catelyn to Robb, since that is Robb's mom.
Yeah.
And he doesn't want to speak illy of her right now, especially with everything she's going through with her son.
Yeah.
My theory is that he doesn't trust himself to speak because he thinks, like he was describing how Brann looked, and I think he doesn't trust himself to speak as if he's going to say he's going to die, or he doesn't look good, or, say something to Robb that's going to make Robb really upset.
Yeah. But do you think Robb
That's what I think.
Do you think Robb has seen Brann, though?
I'm sure he has.
I would assume
I'm saying,
the other
like,
kids have.
if you've ever had a loved one in the hospital, which we all have, and you go to tell somebody else and they go, how are they?
Yeah.
You want to be positive, right? Even if you don't feel like it's positive.
That's
so
true.
I feel like that's what he doesn't trust himself to speak, is he doesn't want to be like, well, his eyes are like black sunken holes, and
Oh, God.
his legs are all contorted, but he's doing fine.
He's
What
okay.
I'm saying? Like he doesn't trust himself to not be truthful.
Yeah, that's true.
That may.
Good point.
Yeah, so after that, Robb just looks at him and says he's not going to die. I know it. And Jon agrees and then says that the Starks are hard to kill. And he says it in a very tired voice, as the visit to Brann had actually taken all the strength from him.
Yeah, it probably was a lot for him to handle.
Yeah.
Understandable.
Right before he leaves.
Yeah, for real. Robb kind of sees that something is wrong and starts to act how his mother was during the visit, but Jon kind of cuts him off and hesitantly says she was very kind.
Hesitantly.
Yeah. This kind of comes as a relief to Robb, so he smiles and begins to just kind of move the conversation along and is talking about how the next time he sees Jon, he'll be in all black. And Jon says that black has always been his color. I feel you, brother.
Heck yeah.
And after this, they give each other a hug goodbye, and Jon tells Robb to take care of Brann. Excuse me. Jon has one more farewell to make, so Robb says he will cover for him to Uncle Benjen. And Jon then walks down to the armory to pick up a package and then takes the covered bridge across to the keep, where he then finds Arya in her room, packing a polished ironwood chest that's actually bigger than she was.
Wow.
Which I think is funny.
Yeah. She's a widow.
Yeah, and Nymeria is there helping her. So all Arya had to do was point, and the wolf would then bound across the room and snatch up some wisp of silk and then bring it back to her. Which I think is kind of cool.
I think it's safe to say at this point that Nymeria is one of the best trained ones.
Yeah, agreed.
That I'm seeing
Hey,
here.
if my dog could do that every time I was packing to go out of town.
Oh, I would love that.
Are you kidding me?
She won't even go sit on the couch. She'll go on the couch. So not really
Yeah.
pick up something.
But, so, as Jon's walking in and seeing that scene, Nymeria smells Ghost and sits down and lets out a yelp to kind of I don't know if it would be like to say hi or like to let Arya know that somebody was there, but either way, I think it's kind of cute.
Yes.
Arya jumps to her feet, and when she sees Jon, she throws her skinny arms around his neck.
That's so cute.
And she kind of starts to tell him about how she was afraid that, like, he was already gone because they wouldn't let her out to say goodbye, which that's the same kind of thing with him being afraid to go see Brann because of Catelyn. He just wants to say goodbye to his brother. You're not going to let Arya out to say bye to her brother?
Mm-hmm.
That's just messed up to me.
That's a really good comparison, though. Like, they're both kind of being treated the same.
It's just, that's messed, like, why?
And
why
they both are the
them
ones
like
that feel like outsiders,
Mhm.
and they have this special connection.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, Jon is kind of amused by that and asks her what she did now. Because he's assuming that
Like,
she
what now?
she wasn't let out because she got in trouble for something. Arya makes a face at him and tells him that she didn't do anything. All she did was get all packed, and then Septa Mordane came in and tell her that she had to do it all over because a proper Southron. Southron? I don't know how to say it.
Yep.
Southron lady doesn't just throw her clothes inside of a chest like old rags.
And Arya quickly is like, it doesn't really matter because they're going to get messed up anyway.
Yeah.
So not quite sure why Septa Mordane even cares.
You know, that is my attitude. Why do I have to fold my clothes if they're going to get messed up anyways?
Yeah.
Agreed.
You pack all your stuff on one side of the suitcase and then tip it up. And
Yes.
it all falls to
It all falls anyways.
So Jon quickly says that he has a present for her. And so Arya immediately knows that it's like a secret present. So she puts Nymeria outside and closes the door, and Nymeria stands watch, which I think is hilarious. I can just imagine this like young wolf just sitting there like at the edge of the door, just looking back and forth, like, okay,
I got you.
So then Jon hands her a sword, and it's described that it has a gray handhold and a sharp and small blade. And Jon warns her that this isn't a toy and it's sharp enough to shave with.
Dang.
And then Arya quickly comes back, which I think is great. Clearly she has some problems with Septa Mordane. She says women don't shave, but some should. Because have you seen Septa Mordane's legs? Literally says that in the book. It's just great.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, a burn.
Burn.
And Jon quickly comes and says, they use these swords in the free cities, and it requires not a brute strength, but more of a speed. And you can poke a lot of holes in somebody if you have a lot of speed, but you can't chop off somebody's head with it.
It's a poke, not a...
And Arya comments that she can be fast. So
She's little.
she's little. So Jon tells her to actually hide it from Septa Mordane because it'll get taken away. And his first lesson for her is make sure to stick them with the pointy end.
Thank you, Jon.
Yeah, thanks, Jon. This whole time, Jon is just, like, messing with her.
Yeah.
That's what I love about this whole thing. And, like, she, like, smacks him on the arm with it.
You know...
And they even describe it as, like, it hurt, but it was funny.
I just love their relationship.
Yeah, it's just great.
It is so good.
But then Jon kind of gives her some words of advice here. And he's like... Because she's like, who am I going to train with? And he's like, you're going to find someone. And you need to train. You need to make yourself strong. You need to learn how to ride. You need to learn how people fight. Just do that. Don't be like your sister.
Right.
Basically. And then the big thing that they say is, and the most important thing, and both of them say it together, is don't tell Sansa. Which I think is really funny. It kind of like shows their relationship there. And then Jon says that he's going to miss her, and they hug and kiss goodbye. And before he leaves, Jon says, oh yeah, one more thing. All the best swords have names. And Arya says, oh, like ice? And Jon comments that this sword is named after Arya's favorite thing. And then they together go, needle.
Which is kind of like a sarcastic.
It's sarcastic, but it's kind of cute because she has like this super thin, sharp sword that's fitted for her. Because we looked it up online. It was, you said it was 30 inches or something.
It's like, okay, so I couldn't find any like specs on needle, but the replica that they make from the show is 30.5 inches.
Which is, I mean that's pretty long, I guess, because that's over 2 feet.
It's like 2.5 feet.
It's
just over 2.5 feet.
So that's, I guess that's long, but I think if you're thinking about ice, right?
Yeah.
Ice was like, 6 foot?
6 foot.
And it's big enough to
and
be
that's
your
what
hand
I was just
across.
thinking, is that when you're watching the show, I mean, just the comparison, when she's practicing with it, like, I mean, you can just tell. It's very obvious. I was actually going to comment about the name because I know we haven't gotten to our book and show comparisons yet, but in the show she says, he says all swords have a name, and she kind of goes, you see her think about it for a second, and then she goes, well, Sansa can keep her sewing needles. I have a needle of my own. So they did it a little bit different. So I thought it was cute that she kind of made it, I mean, they still make it into the whole stitch work stuff, but I don't know, I thought that was cute.
I love how they do it in the book, though, too, because it's like a play on, like, she actually hates needlework.
Yeah.
So, needle.
Yeah. And then I also wanted to say about it, I was reading an article about needle, and it said it wasn't like a cutting knife. You already commented on it.
Yeah, it's stabbing.
It's a poking,
you
poke them. It's
I think of it
cutting.
as like what is that sport where people fencing? It's like a fencing sword.
Yeah.
But it doesn't bend. It's just actually sharp and hard.
And what kind of in the book it said it was made with some kind of metal.
It's just it's castle forged steel.
Castle forged steel.
That's what.
So is that like, I know it's not as strong as Valyrian, but is it like just strong?
Yeah, I imagine it's strong. I mean, it's forged steel.
Right.
Yeah.
So that would be pretty strong.
I was just curious. Okay.
Yeah. So then to wrap up, Jon leaves, and it's kind of fun. I like the way that they ended this chapter. It's kind of cute. I don't know, it's really nice. But it says that he remembers Arya's laughing from that moment, and it keeps him warm as he rides north. Mm-hmm. So I think that's really a great send-off and just kind of cute. Yeah.
It's a good way to end the chapter.
Yeah. So anyways, we have some discussion questions for you guys. So the first question is, what would you name your sword?
Ugh. I don't know.
Well, after looking up like the sword names in the show, I'd probably go along like, what was the sword in like Lord of the Rings? What was that one?
Sting.
See, that's a cool name.
That is a cool name.
Or like, I mean, in the show, Heartsbane. That one's pretty sweet.
I
don't like
Brienne's.
Widow's Wail.
I like Brienne's Oathkeeper.
Oathkeeper, yeah. Or Widow's Wail.
We're not going to get into why they're named that yet.
No.
But, yeah.
Yeah.
I think this is just off the top of my head, I think I'd name mine like Maneater.
Maneater, see? That's a good one too, yeah. If you looked up like the names of the Valyrian steel swords, the other names, like the names that the Targaryens supposedly had, were like really cool names. I don't remember what they were off the top of my head, but they were really awesome names, and they all like disappeared.
Man, I don't
come
know.
up with one?
I don't know. I'm trying to think.
It's kind of hard.
It is. I don't know. Can I just say like Simba?
So lame.
I almost went with just like ice, just like Ned's.
Yeah.
That is, but I didn't want to like copy someone.
Ooh, fire.
Fire. So then it's ice and fire.
Oh my gosh. Just like this book series.
Oh man. And it's a tale. It's a
So
song.
Chris, what did you say yours was going to be?
Oh, Sting.
Sting? You're going to copy Lord of the Rings?
I'm going to copy Lord of the Rings.
Man.
I hope it glows blue, too.
There's no orcs in Game of Thrones, Christopher.
So the second question is, what is your least favorite chore?
I know exactly which is my least favorite chore.
Go.
Mine is cleaning my gecko's cage because it takes half a day. And I have to make bleach water and scrub every individual little item that is in his cage every week.
Yeah, you were telling me the process. It just does not seem fun.
Well, me and Olivia actually have opposite least favorite chores, and we worked this out in our household here.
We have. So my least favorite is laundry.
And my least favorite is dishes.
So I actually enjoy doing dishes, so I do the dishes in the house.
And I'll do the laundry.
Yup.
And that's how we've worked it out.
And I help with both.
You do.
And you do help with both.
So yeah.
So, the last question is, if you're leaving your current city tonight, who's the first person you would say goodbye to?
Gabby.
Olivia.
That'd be either of you, but I'm guessing I would be leaving with Olivia, so then Gabby.
Aww.
So then that would be...
Oh, my heart just grew
No, Brad.
Hey, chill out.
My heart just grew a couple sizes today.
Throws my dad's name into it. Okay.
And did you say and Brad?
Yeah, he said no.
I said Brad. Just Brad.
Oh, goodness.
Listen here.
Just throw that one in
I
there.
am Brad, just mini female form.
Fair enough.
That's true.
All right.
Guys, if you didn't know, we are on Apple Podcasts. We need you to subscribe and like and review us.
What are we on?
We're on Apple Podcasts.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
We're on Apple Podcasts. We're on Google Podcasts. We are now on Spotify.
We're on Spotify?
We're on Spotify.
Dang.
We just got approved today.
So
you
use your
guys have-
student deals.
Yeah.
Yes.
There
And
you
you
go.
guys have no excuses not to listen to us.
Yes.
So
We are so accessible.
Technically,
Get
you're
to
listening
it.
right now.
And we're on
Thank you for
YouTube.
that.
So go listen.
And you made it to the end of the episode.
If you made it to the
So,
end of this episode,
I'm not
and
hounding
I'm not
you,
actually
but
talking crap to you.
If you could,
Get your friends.
get your
Yes.
friends to be on.
Share it with them, please. We are also on Facebook at Game of Wines, a Song of Ice and Fire podcast. We're on Instagram and Twitter at Game of Wines 1. We're on YouTube and we're on Podbean. So make sure you guys go like, subscribe, comment, share, whatever with all your friends and family. That is it for this week's episode of Game of Wines. Next week, we will be discussing the second Daenerys chapter, so make sure you read that chapter before next episode, and thanks for listening.